Yeah, typical Monday. I was going to show a really cool video here, and for some reason, I couldn't download it. Whatever. Welcome to the superpilotish channel. My name is Graham Wilson, and today in my basement, I'm going to be telling you all about sustainable aviation fuel, man. It's like better for the environment, man. Stuff like that, I guess. I just found out about it today. I didn't even know the stuff existed. And I was looking for a topic to do for my show like I usually do. And I found out that in Canada at the Airbus facility up in Montreal, I believe it is, they said that, hey, we're doing sustainable aviation fuel here, and it's available, and we're sticking it in, putting it in our Airbus A220s. And it's like, okay, whatever. What is this sustainable aviation fuel? And hey, Wrench, nice to see you here. Nice to have an engineer in the house to pick apart sustainable aviation fuel. Yeah, so it's like, what is this? And I saw like some like videos that were from a couple of years ago that were from Airbus, and it was kind of like done like a kids show. Hey, we're protecting the environment with the sustainable aviation fuel stuff, and it was like, okay, cool. I mean, nobody likes pollution, right? But there's a kind of a trade-off you do as a pilot where you like, you might love the environment, you might like the like me, I don't like pollution too much and stuff, and but I also like burning some lead so I can go up in the air and have some fun. So it's kind of a strange thing you got to deal with as a pilot. And but jet fuel doesn't have lead. The little planes I fly do in the fuel. So I was like, what is this stuff? And like I said, typical Monday. I don't know. I couldn't download this thing. And so, but I did manage to get on my new high tech I don't know, presentation skills that I'm just kind of working on discovering myself. Let's check this out. Boom. All right. So, what is sustainable aviation fuel? Now, that is, uh, yeah, that is kind of small to read. So, I'm going to see if I can make it bigger, which I've never done before. And I think you should still be able to hear me if I do this. So, we'll see. Wrench, I'll be requiring you to tell me if you can hear me after I make this bigger. So here we go. Check, check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. What is a sustainable aviation fuel? It's apparently this is right from Airbus. Is a drop-in fuel that can be blended with jet fuel and used in aircraft without any engine modification required. So okay, great. Hey, Wrench can hear me. I wonder if I can pop this up here too. Hey, yes, all right, Wrench, thanks. Okay, so that means that, if we're looking up here kind of to the right, we have, we got like a little cloud up there, and we got some processing, and it's kind of small to see. You can see that they've done this for a number of years, and it uses municipal solid waste, used cooking oil, food waste, sugars, carbon dioxide, and green H2. What's that? Hydrogen. Okay, so we're going to go back to me. Hey, look at that. I'm getting better at this stuff. So this is the other thing that I was, and I'm trying to think, like, you always see these, even forever on TV, and that there'd be like, here's a car that runs on logs that the guy cut down, and you do some big boiler thingamajig, and the gas from the logs runs in the engine. And here's a guy that drove from coast to coast, just stopping off and picking up French fry oil and stuff. And I am kind of wondering if this sustainable aviation fuel smells like, like Kentucky Fried Chicken or Burger King or something like that. But yeah, so we got here we go. I found another little picture, and we'll kind of go over this. And okay, so that's a little bit easier to read than the Airbus one. This is from tributeaviation.com. I'm going to make that even bigger for you. You're welcome. Okay, so we're looking at number one. This is, it says that feedstock is collected, used cooking oil, household, and agricultural waste. And it looks to me, if you can see this, if you're not just listening to it, there's It looks like there's a diesel powered truck there driving around with a bunch of cooking oil, and we're cutting down trees, stuff like that. And then number two, the feedstock gets converted into sustainable aviation fuel. How is that done? Probably by using all kinds of hydrocarbons from dug up out of the ground and building plants and shipping it all over the place in diesel trucks. And then it's blended with traditional jet fuel, number three. Number four, it goes back in the diesel truck and gets, well, those things go to airports anyways, distribution at airports and into aircraft wings. And then number five, lower emission flights using sustainable aviation fuel. And then it puts all the chemtrails back into the air, and then the trees eat the chemtrails, and the whole cycle of life repeats with a 70% reduction in carbon dioxide from flights using sustainable aviation fuel. Wow, doesn't that sound great? Okay, and so, I mean, it sounds kind of cool, but then I got questions about this too. And so I see, yeah, we got a little comment from Wrench here. I'll get to that a little bit later there. I see you, Wrench. Yeah, so of course, the number one that you're going to ask about is, I got my whiteboard out here to keep, I don't know, just to kind of brainstorm. I got my questions. Number one is the cost. How much does that cost? It seems like it's a pretty intense process to do this, but then I mean, you know, if you're going to be taking a bunch of oil out of the ground and shipping it and processing it and turning it into jet fuel. Jet fuel, if you didn't know, is just kind of like, it's basically the same family as like kerosene, diesel fuel, jet fuel. It's all kind of the same thing. So the cost on that, and I did a quick Google search, the quickest of quick 30-second Google searches, and it's like I found some website. I wonder if I still have it here. It's like cost, yeah, it's way more expensive. So it was funny. Yeah, okay, I got that. I'll read from it, and then it'll sound like a I don't know. I'll sound like the investigative aviation reporter that I am. So, you know, that's the other thing about that. I kind of like calling myself a reporter now, because I'm actually thinking about it and kind of talking about it. Whereas if you have any other reporter that's on TV, they'll just say, hey, Airbus is now offering sustainable aviation fuel in Montreal. Back to you, Bob. Like, yeah, but is it sustainable if it's like way more expensive? I don't know. It's kind of like if I was eating steak that was $100 a pound here, I think I'd go through my bank account pretty quick. You know, like that's not sustainable steak, even though it's grass fed or something. I can't afford it, man. So that's not sustainable for me to eat it. But anyway, anyways, let's see what else. I'm gonna take a look here. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure if I could share this with you. Probably not. But according to what's this, ibexpub.media. Okay, this is someplace off of the internet, so it's probably true. And what else? Policy and regulation. They're talking about market acceptance here. Airlines' hesitancy to adopt sustainable aviation fuel owing to its higher costs and uncertainties regarding performance or compatibility with existing aircraft and infrastructure presents a significant economic hurdle. Overcoming this reluctance is essential for sustainable aviation fuel to gain traction in the market. That I also saw somewhere in here. Okay, so the cost is like a really big one. And so, you know, why would you bother like developing all this stuff when just intuitively it's like this seems like a lot of hassle just to like add something to gas or to jet fuel, and then how like or here we go. Oops, banging my oh, I got my nice solid table here. I'm banging my elbow off of. Okay, so my other question, because there's like in aviation, there's always a trade-off between speed, cost, weight. You know, there's always a trade-off there. So I'm just wondering the energy output on it. According to what they say, is they turn it exactly into jet fuel, the same molecule and everything. But I don't know. It just seems to me if you got like, how can you have less carbon dioxide? Ooh, that's another one too. Is my other question. So Is it kind of like you'll have like a detuned engine or something like that? Does it put in out exactly the same amount of joules of energy of the exact efficiency of it? I don't know. That's a question. I don't know the answer to it. What's the energy output? And of course, they could also get you could also get down to the question too. It was like, who cares if there's some carbon up in the air? And do you mean carbon dioxide or do you mean carbon? Because, and I was just thinking about that here too. Because say I got my pencil, I use this to keep notes around the show. It's getting a little bit dull. So if I'm putting carbon into the air, because this is like, it's like, or maybe is that graphite? That's the type of carbon. So if I take my pencil, I throw it up in the air, then there's some carbon emissions into the air, right? Oh, but then it fell on the ground. So now it's not in the air anymore. So I don't know what people really mean by they mean like carbon all the time. Do you mean carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide? Do you mean, what do you mean? While I'm at it, I'm going to sharpen that here. This is a pretty cool, this is a really high-tech pencil I got for Christmas for a while back. It's got kind of a rough and finish way of sharpening it. It's the Palomino, Blackwing Palomino. It's a very good pencil. So, yeah, there we go. I'll sharpen that up. It's got like a 2-stage sharpener on here, rough and fine cut. Very cool, very cool. I'll squish it in there. Did I break it? Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, look at that. Look at that bad boy. That is sharp. Just like the picture. Okay. So, yeah. So when they're talking about carbon, so my question as a reporter is, and is it really that bad? And then I have no answers for this. I mean, like, what do you mean carbon? It's like, is that really so bad? I don't know, it might be, might not be. Some people say it is, I guess. But do you mean carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, graphite? Like, yeah. So I'm not really too sure. And you need carbon to put like steel. You always got to add carbon into steel if you're making steel. Like if you're making like all these diesel trucks that have to drive around, they're made with carbon in the steel that makes the engines to get the diesel that's out of the ground, which was oil that they had to distill using natural gas heat. So it gets started all this, like whether it's sustainable or not. You get a whole lot of questions that me as an investigative aviation reporter, I don't know the right answer to. So whatever. But anyways, I figured I'd just kind of show like go on the show here and say that there is something that they do call sustainable aviation fuel. And then, like, is that just a name? Like, I could, like, say I got gasoline in a can over here. I got my sustainable petrochemical because if I dump it in the lake, eventually it'll make it back down into the oil well and I can get more sustainable gasoline if I dump it in the lake. I don't know. I'll just call it sustainable gasoline. It's the circle of life. I don't know, but that's pollution. We all know that's no good, but yeah, I don't know. And so I don't know, is it worth it? I don't know. This investigative aviation reporter has questions, and to tell you the truth, I don't get paid enough to investigate them, so because I don't get paid anything. But anyways, I thought I would just bring that up. I don't know. You could. Oh, I'll be like all the rest of the YouTubers. Hey, leave a comment below to see what do you think about sustainable aviation fuel. And man, I just couldn't download a video. Like this computer thing. Yeah. Okay, boomer. Whatever. I'm not a boomer, but I'm kind of new it. Well, I'm new it. Sort of new. Well, what would it be? I'm new at downloading things from the interwebs, from YouTube. I don't know. But I'll figure it all out. I just figured out recently how to do all this like presentation stuff. There you go. So according to this, they like that truck will run over a tree and the truck's filled up with, I don't think that's Did the trucker just take a whiz in that bottle there, or is that cooking oil? I'm not sure. And then the feedstock gets converted into sustainable aviation fuel at a gigantic steel and pipe and stainless steel and heavy with like I don't know, a base of 4 feet of concrete that had to be trucked in by another diesel powered truck, and then it gets mixed with traditional jet fuel, so it just kind of thins it out a bit, and who knows how that affects the engine on the plane. Number 4, it gets distribution at airports and into aircraft's wings with their diesel-powered truck made out of carbon steel doors and stuff and frames, and then oil-based rubber tires, and then you stick it into a jet, you light it all on fire, and apparently you get 70%, on average, you get a 70% reduction in CO2 from flights using this type of fuel. But then I saw on, if we were looking at the other one, it said you can get up to 80% less carbon dioxide. And the question there is, does that even matter? I don't know. And do they mean like 70% of that special fuel is less? So overall, it's only like 20% or 5% less because of the titration of it or whatever. I have many questions, such as cost, the energy output, and what do you mean by carbon exactly? So there we go. You didn't learn anything today other than there is such a thing that somebody somewhere calls sustainable aviation fuel. All right, so here we go. Let's take a look at what Wrench is talking about. Apparently, we used to call this biofuel, and Brazil and Indonesia use a lot. I've heard that developing biofuel and like organic-based fuel and stuff like that, the technology on that, what do they call it? It's some sort of technology that's really fussy, and it's called a reactor, actually. I heard that from some guy that used to do that type of work. Just ran into him somewhere. And he said that, like, it's like it's some kind of weird reaction. They call it a reactor. And it's very fussy. And it becomes efficient if you got that type of reactor. But that's all I know about it. And some big oil doesn't like it too much unless they want to control the reactor. That's the conspiracy. Dun, dun, dun. Who knows? All right. So I haven't even read this. I'll just read it here now. Wrench is perplexed how waste is sustainable. There's only so much waste, but airplanes use thousands of gallons of fuel. Even 60 McDonald's only make a couple hundred gallons of used oil in a week. Yeah, but you see, Wrench, if you pay enough people to go drive around to the entire country, you could get like burning a bunch of diesel fuel to go pick it up. Then you'll get sustainable. I think. What else we got here? And for a long time, singer Willie Nelson was promoting making French fry oil into semi-truck fuel, but someone has to drive around to collect all the French fry oil. Yep. What else we got here? Okay, most focused based on synthetic fuel, jet fuel from oils from squished biomass. Other Synth 104 octane gasoline was in AOPA Pilot magazine in 2008. Swift fuel made from biomass fermentation. Big bucks. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff is pretty heavily subsidized by the government too. And we don't get too political here on the superpilotish channel, but it seems to me that, sometimes it's not the worst thing in the world for a government to give a little bit of boost into something that maybe isn't economically viable yet. I'm thinking like the space program for NASA at the time, going to the moon. That really pushed some boundaries of engineering and computational power and our knowledge about physics and how the planets work and everything like that. It might have been more of it was a big expense, but in the long run, it helped out for like satellite communication and stuff. Maybe it wasn't quite economically viable to develop a whole satellite program unless you knew all that stuff from NASA that was paid for by the taxpayer. So in a way, I don't know. I kind of say every once in a while that's okay if it makes sense, and maybe if the product or the project is just so huge. But for this, I don't know, man. People have been distilling corn in the back 40, making alcohol and sticking it in the tractor for years. So it's like that's not really groundbreaking. But anyways, I guess I'm kind of with you there too, Reg. That this is it's great, but I'm also kind of skeptical. It might be okay, might not be okay. It'd be super cool if it was like some dream fuel, but I always think about like if someone's got a great idea, you just Google it and someone already thought about it, and then it gets shot down. So, oh well, keep on working on the sustainable aviation fuel there, Boeing or Airbus. Whoops, sorry. And yeah, okay, that's pretty cool. Not bad for Monday. I wish I could have downloaded that video, but I got to do some more research on my how to download that stuff. Okay, yeah, so there we go. Happy Carbon Monday. And then yep, so that's about it. We'll shut her down. Today is Monday, so okay, so I'll be back on Wednesday because I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Hit that thumbs up button. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Okay, but seriously, thanks for watching. Bye.